Greetings, friends. This will be episode 4 of my Masters of the Universe memories, and I'm going to go back to the normal, regular format this time. Last week was kind of weird. It was a little, I don't know, I was in the holiday spirit, I guess. So I talked to one of the action figures for a little while, Adam, and that got to be a little weird, and then my daughter came out, so she kind of saved me from taking that bit a little too far. But I've got a few things to share with you this time, and I hope you enjoy it. So this will be episode 4, and like I said, I'm just going to go back to the regular stuff, pulling a figure out of the old box and seeing what I can come up with it off the top of my head, and talk about the memories I have associated with it. But first I want to talk a little bit about what Christmas. I talked a little bit about it last time, but my friend Paul was kind enough to get me the Wind Raider for Christmas. I had mentioned before that I probably wouldn't be able to get it because, you know, with Christmas and finances and things around this time of the year, this was kind of a luxury item that I wouldn't be able to get, but he was kind enough to get it for me. He's a good friend, and if he's watching this, I'd say thanks again for getting this for me. Of course, I have Man-at-Arms driving it, since he is the designer of the Wind Raider, according to the mythos, I guess, or the blueprints on the back of the box. So most figures fit really well in this. I love the detail. I love almost, you know, everything about this. This is a little loose, you know, when it spins. I wish it didn't spin on its own. I wish it had like a locking mechanism, but I'm not complaining at all. This is a fantastic vehicle. It's actually one of the original vehicles that I never had. I never had the vintage Wind Raider, so I'm glad that it's out now. And well, it's always been out, but I'm glad that I was able to get it in the new Classics line. This is a fantastic piece, and I love the way that the decals were done with the they talked about it at PowerCon, where they float the decals on water, and then the piece comes up underneath, and that's how they all get applied. So they're more permanent than stickers, and they'll, you know, never come off. And plus, this one will never get played with anyway. It's a show piece, not a action playable piece. So there's no chance of it getting any damage or anything like that. But it holds a prominent place on my limited display area that I have right now, so I'm really pleased with this. Also, I have our other figures out there. Oh, I found Orko. James asked me where Orko was. This is the new Orko from the Classics line. Prior to last week, when I opened Man-at-Arms, the Orko Prince Adam double pack was the only one I had previously opened, because I ordered 2 of them. That was probably one of the first ones I actually ordered at the beginning of my phase in collecting Masters of the Universe Classics. So I ordered 2 of those. I think they were $40 a piece at the time, so that was a big leap for me, doing $80 on those. So I opened one and had it on display. And funnily enough, if you watched last week's episode, I I scolded Adam for not having a sword, and when I found Orko, went through all of his stuff, Orko had it. So I think I owe Adam an apology, and Orko's in big trouble. But anyway, I brought Orko out. One of my favorites. I still have everything he comes with, but I don't have his book with him right now, but just the scepter. And these are the 2 I've done so far, Beastman and Whiplash. So anyway, let's get to the magic. I have the box here, and I also went through my garage and found a whole nother box full of Masters of the Universe stuff. So I've got another box to get to. A lot of it is bulky items like vehicles and things, so maybe we'll get to those, maybe not. But there are a lot of good figures in there too, so I may incorporate them into this box so that I get the full run of all of the figures. So anyway, let's go down deep. I always pull from the bottom, so I don't know when I'm ever going to get to the ones on the top, but we'll just see. We'll see what I come up with. Okay, Tung Lashor. Not if I was doing this as a dramatic piece, I may start over. Tung Lashor is not. He's one of the ones that I probably never collected on my own. I think I got him as part of a combo deal. Like when I spoke about it in the first episode, we would go to, my father and I would go to garage sales and things, and he was looking for something, I was looking for something else. I was always looking for Masters of the Universe figures, and he was probably one of the ones that I picked up in that. I wasn't really big into the Snake Man. That was kind of towards the end of the line. Well, King Hiss, I think, was 85. I was 7. So yeah, I had, I had friends that had King Hiss and all that. King Hiss was cool because he came apart, but I've noticed also that when I start talking about these figures, I always link them to other figures. I need to kind of not do that, because when I get to those figures, I may have already said everything that I know about it. So anyway, Tung Lashor, all mine, he still has his tongue that comes out. The action features were pretty cool, but I never really got into this Snake Man, like I started to say, and then trailed off. They all kind of came with these little scepters and things. King's Hiss was green, I think. Yeah, he's in here somewhere. He had a green one, I believe, and then they all had different colored ones, and they didn't really hold a big part of the Filmation series, from what I can remember. So they weren't like a big deal. I also didn't really understand where they fit into the whole Skeletor versus He-Man type of stuff. I wasn't I was never really big into the mini comics. They came with a figure, and I really only cared about the figure. I would read them, but they were sometimes hard to understand to a little kid. And the Golden books were a big series, but every one of them was different. So I liked those. But the Snake Men were never really a huge part of my playing time with He-Man. If they were, I never grouped the Snake Men into a different group. They were always part of Skeletor's evil warriors to me. I always thought that King Hiss and all of his guys like Tung Lashor and Snake Face and all those guys, they were rat lore. I always thought that they were kind of under Skeletor. Maybe King Hiss was like a henchman who had his own little group, but because Skeletor lived in Snake Mountain, so he was the king of the snakes. I don't know. That's just what I thought. So Tung Lashor. I don't have very much to say about Tung Lashor. So let's pull another one out, shall we? You have to be careful what you say on these, because it's it could get a little funny if you're not careful. So I don't want to spoil it by hedging my bets or rolling the numbers. So let's pull out another one, see if I know anything about it. Okay, Mekaneck. All right. Okay, Mekaneck. Yeah, Mekaneck was one that I really liked as a kid. And actually, so this is our first good guy. If I think about it, Mekaneck is the first. See if his action feature still works. Look at that, it does. He says as he breaks it. No, just kidding. So Mekaneck's our first heroic warrior. Mekaneck's ones that hasn't existed in the new line yet, but they keep hinting about it, and I think they may figure it out pretty soon. So Mekaneck was one that everybody had to have when I was a kid, because he was one of the first ones that had this, he's awesome. Look, his neck extends, and I know in the 2000X, see this came out in 83, it says right here across the back of his head. So it was early in the line. One of the first ones that had like an actual action feature rather than just a spring-loaded punch. Had the actual gears inside that was raised his neck. And even as a kid, I can remember thinking, they kind of hint a little bit towards what his powers are. In the 2000X line, they make him so he's kind of melancholy about his powers. I mean, he only has like a super long neck, and it can go through passages and grab onto stones and things. But I liked Mekaneck a lot. Plus, he also came with his own unique weapon, which is a club that only he had. A lot of the weapons got recycled, especially Buzz-Off's axe was also used with another figure, and the Manny Faces came with a whole bunch of weapons that were similar to the ones that came with Castle Grayskull. So having a unique weapon like this, and also at the time a unique armor, was something that every kid wanted. Plus, I talked last week about the colors, red and blue. It's kind of like Superman, and that would be attractive to a 5-year-old kid. 1983, I would have been 5 years old. So this was always a good one. Everybody always wanted to play with this one because he had the action feature, and he could extend his neck, and nobody else had that. And also in one of the accessory packs, I know one of the weapons packs that came out in the vintage line, they had this armor, and I think it was orange. So you could put it on Man-at-Arms. He had orange armor or anything like that. So Mekaneck was always a good guy that all the kids wanted to play with. He never was a frontline figure for me. He always took kind of like a back seat, like a recon type of deal. If I was playing with my He-Man figures, and He-Man was always number one. He always wanted He-Man. Skeletor was cool too, and you always have one of those in each of your hands. And then Mekaneck would kind of stand in the back, and you'd raise him up so that he could look at everything. And I don't know if this one will stand. His legs are kind of loose, but he was a good figure to play with, and he was pretty awesome. And I always enjoyed having him around. These are kind of tough because I have to try to remember what I remembered as a kid, and some figures really pop to the front of your mind, mostly because you play with them a lot, and some of them you don't. So I'm pulling these out at random. I'm trying to figure out what I remember about being as a kid, and as you get older, your memory starts to fade. So I'm glad I'm doing this because then I kind of can refresh my memory. Wow, I have some good ones in here right on top. I think I might just start pulling them off the top. I don't know. Yeah, this is a good box. I'm getting way ahead of myself. I don't know if he'll stand up or not, but I'll just lay down. I found Stinkor. Okay, so I have to. If you ever find any of your old figures, I just through the outside. You have to, any of them like Mossman or Stinkor or anything, if you have them in bags like this, they retain their scent. So if you find Stinkor, you gotta open them up and see. Oh man, he's not as bad as he used to be. Oh look, he reused, hey, this is all tying together great, because he reused Mekaneck's armor. There it is, in orange. Stinkor, with Stinkor's blue shield. So, great. I hope this isn't going too long, but people like this, right? You open old stuff and play with them. So yeah, Stinkor still stinks. It's not as bad as it used to be. Remember when you opened that package when you were a kid, that first, oh man, it was so strong. And then I wasn't allowed to kind of have him around my parents because he was so stinky. But these are tied in. Oh, his legs are, I don't think he'll stand up anymore either. Need to get some figure stands or something. But Stinkor reused Mekaneck's armor. See? You can see. That is totally unplanned. I'm glad it came together like that. He also used the Castle Grayskull shield, which was redone in blue. But that's okay, because his action feature was his smell. Stinkor was always fun because he had the stink. And people liked him. He was always a bad guy too. He reused Merman's head. I think I have a merman in here. Yeah. Merman's head repainted. He was fun. I really like the new one that they've got coming out, and I like that they gave him an offensive weapon this time too, with the blaster or rifle, whatever it is. So I'm really looking forward to that one. I like the two different heads. I like the 2000X head on that one. This one, I always knew it was Merman, but it's still cool and stuff. So, wow, 3 figures this time. That's a lot. But there's a lot of figures to get through, so we'll be okay. So, Tung Lashor, Mekaneck won't stand up, and Stinkor won't stand up. So, I don't have a lot of memories about these ones, but I do remember playing with them. And these ones have the action features, the new thing with the new smell. and Mekaneck with his neck. So these are early in the line. Good use. Obviously, Stinkor is later than Mekaneck. I don't know if it has his. It's probably under the armor. But we use a lot of pieces, but done very well. So you didn't really care about it at the time. He had different feet and different stuff. So that's episode 4. So we're back to just a normal standard output. If you like what I'm doing so far, please leave me a message. And if you don't like it, go ahead and leave me another message as well. I'll try to take any criticism into consideration. So I'm glad that you've stuck with me this far. And if there's any specific figures you want me to do, I would be willing to take requests. I may, I'll take them. I may not use them. But I'm willing to accommodate the reasonable requests of reasonable people. So anyway, I'm glad about what's happening with the line right now. I'm glad that this is the beginning of the 30th anniversary, first episode of my series this year, 2012. And I hope you guys stick with me through it. I hope I'm doing a good job. I don't, I brought these out because I thought I needed a little visual appeal. But I don't know if I'm going to bring out every single figure I've talked about so far every time, but we'll see. I try to keep it loose, you know me, in any ways. Hope you guys are going to have a good new year, and like I said, leave me any comments. My name's Brandon Jenkins, for those of you that don't know me, and you can reach me on mymotumemories.com or on facebook.com/mymotumemories. So anyway, good journey until next time, and we'll see you then. Bye.